Harry Hill's TV Burp is one of the greatest TV shows to ever come out of the United Kingdom. No, I'm not being ironic. This show is so funny, so well written, and such a great legacy for a comedian like Harry Hill to leave behind. Yeah, I know Harry's still around today, and he has done a few shows since TV Burp ended, but none of them have ever quite managed to replicate the magic that was TV Burp.
To TV Burp.
The premise of the show is fairly simple. The show takes clips from various TV shows that aired throughout the week, and Harry transforms the clips into something funny.
Man laughs like a sheep on the hottest place on earth.
Is it me just imagining it, or do your feet feel really hot?
Yeah. And what's the crunchiest toast you've ever had?
What's in it for me?
This little lizard went to market.
It's not just ITV shows that Harry takes the mick out of. It seems that all the other biggest TV networks in the UK actually gave Harry permission to mock their programmes, which I think goes to show just how much of a cultural impact this show had. Everyone wanted a piece of that TV Burp pie, or maybe it just shows that fair use laws can go a long way. In fact, when you think about it, this show was kind of ahead of its time in a lot of ways. This show began in 2002, meaning it started way before the internet became mainstream. Nowadays you get plenty of YouTubers commentating or making jokes about how silly entertainment has become nowadays. Well, turns out Harry Hill was doing a very similar thing on a much bigger budget and scale before most of these people were even born. That wouldn't have been true 6 years ago, but in 2022 that definitely applies. This show really was what made Saturday the best day of the week. The earliest memory I have of this show is seeing a guy in a gorilla costume fighting a guy in a baby costume. I don't actually know if I'm showing the right footage, but this is what came up when I searched TV Burp Baby versus Gorilla, so I'm assuming I misremembered the scene a bit since that's a Smurf. I think I started watching this show very late into its run, because I seem to remember the show's final episode coming up not too long after I started watching. I thought the show was relatively new when I first found out about it. I was under the impression that Harry had become so popular from hosting You've Been Framed that ITV decided to give this guy his own show. But nope, turns out TV Burp began 107 days after my birthday, so it makes perfect sense that after 10 years of doing the same old thing, Harry would eventually want to move on to something else. But man, that doesn't mean I don't miss this show. So I guess the best we can do now is just go back and rewatch the older episodes, featuring shows that have been off the air for years at this point. But that's what makes this show so brilliant. Despite the fact that it ended over a decade ago now, and despite every episode being quite literally a product of its time, discussing programs that aired the very same week, TV Burp still holds up on rewatch even to this very day. And I think a lot of that comes down to how great the comedy is. You don't need to have watched any of the shows discussed on TV Burp in order to understand the jokes. The show manages to find the perfect balance between mocking critiques of the silliness of the programs and goofy old monkey moments for the kids to laugh at.
Monkey!
This really is a show that can be enjoyed by all ages. You can enjoy it on one level as a child and on a completely different level as an adult. So let's talk about the comedy of TV Burp. Well, for starters, Harry gets to show off his crime fighting abilities when he successfully catches a criminal before the police can even get their hands on him. He also manages to completely deconstruct the entirety of Eastenders. As someone who has never watched a single Eastenders episode and has only ever seen clips from TV Burp, this show looks like a complete and utter joke. This show has storylines on par with CBeebies programmes. Don't believe me? Well, look at the one discussed in TV Burp Season 8, Episode 19.
Oh dear, Ian hasn't noticed it. Did you? The W, when turned upside down, presents itself uncannily like an M. But hang on, that could lead to...
Ah, Christian.
Put the chips, please.
Yeah, go. What do you mean a mix-up?
A mix-up? Have a Adams going to a Wolfwood football club? What will they make of them? Asians who traditionally only eat curries served spotted dick. It's a disaster.
Scale of 1 to 10, how big a disaster was it?
Disaster isn't quite the word.
No. How about a total jaw drop?
Mind-blowing.
Success?
You what?
Yeah. The Madras was a real hit with the football sponsors.
You should have seen the head of the committee tucking into your spotted dick.
How the hell do people take this seriously? Well, luckily my boy Harry's here to back me up, because he completely annihilates this entire scene in probably one of the funniest bits in the entire show. I won't give it away, but seriously, you need to check it out. But while that is a good bit, it doesn't quite reach the heights of my favourite joke in all of TV Burp. It involves a clip from the British drama Downton Abbey. We see a clip of a woman finding a note from presumably someone important. I don't know, I've never watched Downton Abbey. And she proceeds to frantically run around the mansion trying to find people to read the note, I guess.
Where's Mr. Branson?
He's just taken up the soup. Why?
Read that.
What in God's name?
Read this. Where is he now?
Oh my God.
And somehow the note ends up finding its way to Harry. I don't want to give away what the note says, as you need further context from the episode in order to get the joke. But what I will say is when you re-watch the scene, knowing what the note supposedly says and knowing what these people are acting so frantically about, it makes the over-dramatization and exaggerated nature of the whole scene a million times funnier. It's a fine enough joke when you watch it for the first time, but in my opinion, it's a joke that gets way funnier on re-watch. And those are just a few examples of the amazing bits that TV Burp had over the years. That's not even mentioning the fact that Harry pretty much has a teddy bear sidekick, a genius concept that would immediately elevate the quality of anything, as well as the fact that they did a huge parody of the X Factor that spanned over multiple weeks, and it was called the K Factor, where instead of people singing, it was people sending in knitted items and the public determined what they thought the best knitted item was. I'm not sure if this was something people could actually vote on or if all the results were just scripted, but either way it's amazing and you can find the entire thing on YouTube. TV Burp is one of my all-time favourite TV shows. Even in the moments where I feel absolutely awful and feel like I've hit rock bottom, I can always rely on Harry Hill to make me laugh and remind me that laughter makes life worth living. I've been trying to collect all of the TV Burp DVDs every time I walk past CEX on my way to college. They only cost me about 50p each, so if you find any of these DVDs, I say they're definitely worth buying. So if you're ever looking for something to laugh at that can cheer you up on a bad day, I highly recommend Harry Hill's TV Burp.
That's all from us. Goodbye.
And that's it for this month's video. I'm your local shelf decorator, Monobrow Man, and for some reason I look really pale in the camera. I don't know why, I guess it's because of the lighting, or maybe I just made myself ill trying to win 250 quid.